Thoughts come and go, often without permission, appearing like waves on the surface of the mind. One moment, there's a memory, the next, a worry about the future. Yet none of them seem to ask for your approval before arriving. If they arise on their own, does that mean they belong to you? Or is there something deeper, more constant beneath the ever-shifting flow? Many spiritual traditions suggest that the self is not the thinker, but the awareness behind the thoughts. So if you're not your thoughts, then who or what is? That is the question we're going to unravel in this video. If you're serious about your personal health, whether you want to stop suffering, get clear guidance on how to stop overthinking, or to be more present in life, now's the perfect time to subscribe to our channel. Like this video if you're ready to grow further as a person. Now, let's continue. The first chapter. The mysteries of thinking and thoughts. Have you ever noticed those random thoughts that just seem to pop into your head? It's like having guests show up at a party without an invitation. One minute you're all in, and the next you're thinking about what to make for dinner, going over an old argument in your head, or stressing about something that could happen. Where do these thoughts even come from, you know? So, the big question is, who's actually doing the thinking here? If it's not you, then who is it? We've all been there, haven't we? You could be doing the dishes, driving, or simply gazing out the window, and out of nowhere, a thought pops into your head. It wasn't something you were trying to think about. It wasn't something you were trying to think about. This isn't just a mental hiccup. That's just how an untrained mind usually operates. Buddhism has a really interesting take on this, dependent origination. It's a fundamental idea, and it just means that everything comes about because of certain causes and conditions. Every thought comes from something that sparks it, even if we don't really notice it. It might be a sensation, a feeling, or even a memory. Just a whole web of connected events, you know. One thing just leads to another, and then another one pops up. Interested in checking this out in action? How about we give something a shot? Take a moment and see if you can guess what your next thought will be in the next 10 seconds. Just close your eyes for a moment. Feel free to proceed. Hey, can you handle that? I don't think so. Trying to predict it really changed everything. This straightforward exercise highlights a key Buddhist concept, the absence of a lasting controlling self known as anatta. The Buddha was sitting under the Bodhi tree, really tuning into his own mind. The Majjhima Nikaya talks about his deep understanding of consciousness. He noticed thoughts coming and going, like ripples on water, without any one person controlling them. We all have that inner voice, right? You know, that ongoing mental chatter that just doesn't seem to stop. Buddhists refer to it as the monkey mind. It's that restless state that keeps hopping from one thought to another. Consider the types of thoughts that run through your mind. Planning, what's for dinner tonight? Remembering, did I lock the door? Judging, they shouldn't have done that. Worrying, what if I fail? Realizing these patterns is such an important first step. All these thoughts can really pile up and feel like a lot, but they also show us something pretty significant about how our minds work. It gives off this vibe that there's a definite me right in the middle of everything, doing all the thinking. Sometimes we get caught up in our thoughts and think there's a constant I that's driving them. But what if that I is just another thought flowing through the stream? Since thoughts are always changing, this ongoing shift reveals that there isn't a solid, unchanging self behind our thoughts. It's kind of like a river, right? Always flowing, and never quite the same from one moment to the next. The water's always changing. The currents keep moving, kind of like how our thoughts do too. One thought leads to another, creating a chain reaction. You know how one little thought about work can spiral into a worry about a deadline. Then suddenly, you're remembering a past mistake, and before you know it, anxiety kicks in. It's a wild ride, isn't it? That's how cause and effect works, right? Just a little something to think about. Stopping your thoughts is kind of like trying to hold back a river with just your hands. It really just stirs the pot, doesn't it? If you push too hard to control your thoughts, things can get pretty messy. What if, instead of battling the current, you just took a moment to watch it? That's where mindfulness, or sati, really plays a role. Satipatthana Sutta is an important text in Buddhism that offers straightforward advice on how to develop mindfulness meditation and foster that non-judgmental awareness. It's all about being present in each moment and not letting yourself get swept away. When you just pay attention to your thoughts without judging them or getting caught up in their stories, something changes. You make a small area. It's interesting to realize that you're not just your thoughts. You're actually the awareness that notices them. Eckhart Tolle describes this shift in The Power of Now. Rather than being your thoughts and emotions, be the awareness behind them. He emphasizes that most of our suffering comes from over-identification with thought. By stepping back and observing the mind without judgment, we create space for peace. Tolle calls this the difference between being trapped in time, constantly dwelling on the past, or anticipating the future, and stepping into the present moment where true stillness exists. By practicing this awareness, we can break free from automatic reactions and find clarity. As Tolle puts it, in a new earth, rather than being lost in your thoughts, let them be like clouds drifting in the sky. You are the sky. This practice allows us to detach from the endless chatter of the mind and experience a deeper sense of presence. So how about we give it a shot right now? Take a quick moment, just 10 seconds, to notice what's on your mind. Just let your thoughts come and go like watching clouds float by. Did you notice anything interesting? Maybe a bit more calm, a little extra room? That's where freedom starts. That's where freedom starts. That's where freedom starts. That's the magic of just observing things as they are. Chapter 2. The Empty Center. Searching for the Thinker. People often assume there's a thinker behind our thoughts, like a separate self that's in charge of them. So if our thoughts aren't just a solid self, and they keep changing, then what does that make us? This is where we begin to search for that so-called owner of all this mental activity. It's a natural question, and it's something the Buddha himself looked into. It's kind of like that feeling of somebody must be home that we all have inside us. It feels like there's someone out there shaping these thoughts, guiding them along. The Buddha's teachings on anatta, or no, self, really shake up this belief that many of us hold on to pretty tightly. It's not about brushing off what you've been through. It's more about taking a deeper look at it. How about we give a little experiment a shot? Take a moment to hit pause and really try to find the thinker behind your thoughts. Instead of overthinking it, just go out and look for it. What do you really find out? Did you come across anything that seemed like a reliable, long-lasting thinker? Or maybe something completely different? You know, when we go on this quest to find a self that's in control of our thoughts, we often stumble upon something unexpected. It turns out what we thought would be there isn't really present at all. The Buddha didn't just present an abstract idea. He provided a hands. A Buddha didn't just present an abstract idea. He provided our experiences. He talked about human experience as consisting of 5 aggregates, or pancakhandha. So, we have physical form, feelings, perceptions, mental formations, sankhara, and consciousness, vijnana. We can break down everything we experience into these 5 aspects. Mental formations are all about our intentions, volitions, thoughts, and habits. The anatta, Lakkhana Sutta, directly quotes the Buddha. This isn't mine. This isn't me. This isn't who I am. This isn't who I am. He's referring to each of these 5 aggregates. He invites us to take a closer look at them and figure out if any really fit the idea of a permanent, unchanging self. Similarly, Eckhart Tolle emphasizes in The Power of Now that thoughts are not who we truly are. The voice in the head tells a story that the body believes in. You are not the voice in your head, but the one who is aware of it. Recognizing this, is a step toward freeing ourselves from identification with the mind. So, there's this really interesting story about a monk named Kemaka. He was really digging into this teaching. He looked at each of the 5 aggregates, trying to find a sense of self. He took a moment to check in with himself, his body, his feelings, his perceptions, his thoughts, and his awareness. He just couldn't seem to find a lasting sense of self anywhere. He came to understand that even the thought of I am thinking is just another mental creation, a sankhara. It's not something to ponder. It's just another idea. It's just another idea. He felt a sense of peace and freedom wash over him with this realization. Kema's story really stands out as a powerful example. She was a queen known for her beauty before she became a nun. Her husband, King Bimbisara, who was really into the teachings of the Buddha, understood that she cared a lot about how she looked. He set up a visit for her to the monastery, where the Buddha created a vision of an even more stunning woman, then quickly aged that vision right before Kema's eyes. This eye-opening experience of impermanence really got her thinking, and she eventually became a nun recognized for her wisdom. Changing how we look at things, from viewing thoughts as mine to recognizing them as just natural processes, can feel a bit strange at the beginning. What does it mean if there's no self guiding our thoughts? It just means that thoughts happen naturally. They come about depending on certain conditions, just like everything else does. This is how dependent origination relates to our thinking. The Buddha shared this idea with a farmer by comparing it to planting seeds. The things we've done, what we meant to do, and what we've been through all kind of plant seeds in our minds. When these seeds get a little water from the current conditions, they start to grow into thoughts and feelings. Thinking isn't just something we do as a separate self. It comes up naturally through a mix of causes and conditions without needing a constant controller. Pretty liberating to see this. It feels so light, as Eckhart Tolle puts it in A New Earth, rather than being your thoughts and emotions, be the awareness behind them. This shift in perspective allows us to watch our thoughts arise and pass, without clinging to them as part of an identity. Getting this understanding helps ease the clinging that often leads to a lot of mental suffering and dissatisfaction. Chapter 3. Understanding the clarity behind our thoughts. There's something deeper beyond all those endless thoughts, a straightforward but deep ability to understand. It's that understanding that forms the foundation of everything we go through, the quiet observer of all that comes and goes. This awareness isn't just another thought. It's the backdrop for everything we think. This isn't just about picking up a new skill. It's really about seeing a talent that's already inside us. The Buddha really highlighted how crucial it is to practice sati, or mindfulness, which is all about being aware of the present moment without judgment. As Eckhart Tolle writes in The Power of Now, realize deeply that the present moment is all you have. Make the now the primary focus of your life. This shift in perspective moves us away from identifying with our thoughts and instead towards recognizing the stillness beneath them. The monk Anuruddha really aimed to develop this kind of awareness. He had a tough time with his meditation, always finding himself distracted. The Buddha suggested that he just be aware of his thoughts and sensations as they come and go, without getting too wrapped up in them. With consistent practice, Anuruddha cultivated a clear and steady awareness, leading him to a profound sense of peace. He could see just how powerful the mind really is. His experience shows a potential that everyone can relate to, and it's something that modern science is starting to take notice of more and more. Neuroscience is revealing that our brains have this natural knack for observing their own activity. It's like a built-in ability, a core part of what consciousness is all about. Picture a moment where the reflections don't alter anything. This natural knack for observation is what helps us catch those moments of clarity. Think about those little moments when your mind just settles, maybe in between breaths, during some peaceful reflection, or when you're really into something you love. In those moments, you really feel a sense of inner spaciousness. The Buddha really promoted the idea of jhana, which is all about those deep, meditative states where you can focus and calm your mind. Similarly, in A New Earth, Tolle describes how space consciousness allows us to experience awareness beyond thoughts, giving us a glimpse into our true nature beyond mental noise. Just a quick peek at this mental clarity can really open our eyes to what we're capable of. The mind is kind of like a big, open sky. Thoughts, feelings, and sensations are kind of like clouds drifting by. The clouds drift in and out, but the sky stays the same, wide open and clear as ever. This classic Buddhist metaphor really highlights how awareness connects with what's going on in our consciousness. When we notice this spaciousness, that's where we can really feel free from all the chaos of our busy minds. This spaciousness isn't just empty. It definitely has its own unique vibe. Awareness is anything but passive. It has this quality of equanimity, which means a balanced, even-minded attention that stays clear of getting caught up in attraction or aversion. Equanimity, which is one of the 4 Brahmaviharas, was shared by the Buddha as an important quality for achieving liberation. It's interesting how this age-old wisdom is getting more backing from today's research. Research indicates that practicing equanimity can alter the brain's reaction to emotional triggers, leading to less reactivity and fostering a sense of inner calm and stability. Being aware and staying present with whatever comes up, without getting carried away, really captures what inner peace is all about. It's not really about trying to stop our thoughts. It's more about how we relate to them. Chapter 4. Embracing this insight. So how can we bring this understanding of how we think into our daily routines? It's all about building a smarter relationship with our thoughts, focusing on being mindful instead of always fighting against them. The Buddha never suggested that we should get rid of thoughts completely. He got that thinking is super important and really useful, helping us plan, learn, create, and find our way in the world. It's all about using your thoughts in a smart way, rather than letting them take the wheel. He shared with us the concept of yoniso manasikara, which is all about wise attention. It's about focusing in a way that helps us understand and find freedom instead of getting lost in confusion and suffering. As Eckhart Tolle explains in The Power of Now, rather than being your thoughts and emotions, be the awareness behind them. This shift in perspective allows us to observe thoughts without becoming entangled in them. Angulimala's story is really powerful. A notorious criminal had his life turned upside down after meeting the Buddha. It all shifted for him when he began to see his thoughts in a new light, figured out how to recognize the harmful patterns in his thinking, and with the Buddha's guidance, he worked on developing compassion and wisdom. It wasn't about wiping away his past. It was more about deciding to react differently to what he felt inside. This really connects with our daily experiences. So, what does it really mean to think when you're up against a tough problem, like a tricky math question? From a Buddhist point of view, this thinking is just mental formations that come up based on certain conditions. You're looking to tackle the problem head-on, right? That's a strong intention to make things better. Thoughts of past issues, what you've learned, and fresh ideas pop up in your mind. More sankaras. Your awareness is where these mental formations come together, interact, and change around you. When you practice mindfulness, the important thing is to remember that you're not tied to this process. You're not alone in the struggle. Instead, you're just noticing these thoughts and feelings come and go without holding on to any specific result. In A New Earth, Tolle describes this as creating space between yourself and your mind. To end the misery that has afflicted the human condition for thousands of years, you have to start with yourself and take responsibility for your inner state at any given moment. This helps to create that inner space and mental clarity that allows insights to come through. What would this actually look like in real life? Let me give you a quick rundown. It all begins with a clear intention. I want to understand and solve this problem. This really helps to guide your thinking in the right direction. While you work, take a moment to notice the thoughts, formulas, and strategies that come to mind. Just be aware of them as they pop up. You're seeing some frustration, hitting dead ends, and coming up with fresh ideas. Creating room means not pushing for a solution, but rather giving it some space. Why not take a little break? Just breathe deeply for a bit or step away for a moment. It's not really procrastination. It's just giving my mind some room to make new connections. Staying balanced is all about cultivating equanimity. It's important to recognize that sometimes finding a solution can take a bit of time. You're engaged in the journey without fixating on a particular result. When insight comes up, just take a moment to recognize it gently. Let it go. This helps the insight grow and really shape your understanding. The Buddha shared the parable of the raft in the Alagadupama Sutta. A raft is great for getting across a river, but once you're on the other side, you don't really need to lug it around anymore. Just like that, thoughts can be helpful in this journey, but we really don't have to hold on to every single thought or idea that pops up. It's really important to know when your thoughts are actually helping you out and when they're just causing you more stress. This is the middle ground. A balance between pushing thoughts away and getting completely wrapped up in them. Let's kick things off with some small, easy steps to build this awareness. When you're feeling stressed, try taking a few deep breaths and just notice how your body feels. When things get too much, take a moment to remember that there's a space within you that can hold all those thoughts and feelings. As time goes on, those little moments where we pay attention really add up, helping us to be right here, right now. We kick things off with a thought-provoking question. If you're not your thoughts, then who's the one thinking them? The real answer goes beyond just words. Something you feel directly, not just think about. The Kalamalunkyya Sutta talks about how the Buddha chose to remain silent when faced with questions about metaphysics. It's not really about discovering a new self. Instead, it's about realizing that the question fades away when you look at it with clear awareness. In the end, that's what true freedom is all about. Let's keep growing together on this path of self-discovery. Subscribe to our channel for daily inspiration and grow as a person. Comment the word "now" and like the video to show your support. Also, consider sharing this video with someone who could use some encouragement to slow down and enjoy life more fully.